Hello and welcome to Brave Little Buckaroo. I'm Tamsyn and this is my special Vlogmas series, How I Do Stuff, where each day I'm sharing a tip, technique or tutorial for how I do stuff. And today I'm taking you back to the kitchen. Now, I love giving gifts. I guess it's my love language is giving gifts. But when you're giving gifts to other adults, as I usually am these days, there are no children in my family yet at this stage. So the people that we spend Christmas with are, you know, parents, grandparents, in-laws, and adult children. So it can be hard to find gifts that are meaningful, affordable, not just something that's going to get thrown away, but you don't want to show up empty-handed, right? But if they want something really fancy or expensive, I probably can't afford it. And if they want something reasonable and easy to get, then they could probably buy it for themselves. So it can be tricky to find a gift, I think, that fills my need of giving something meaningful, but also is practical and sustainable when you've got, 10 people that you might need to buy gifts for or more. Anyhow, so that's why a few years ago I started making cookie boxes as Christmas gifts for most of the people that we see at Christmas. So that it fills my need of giving a gift. It's meaningful to me in that it's taken a lot of time and effort and organization, and it feels like an act of service as well, that I'm doing this for the people that I love. But also for them, they get to receive something that they might actually want. And it's not something they're going to keep forever because they're going to eat them, hopefully. But they'll still get enjoyment out of it. They hopefully feel loved and they feel like it's a gift that they can be happy to receive and I can be happy to give. So having said all of that, every year I make cookie boxes and every year I change up the recipes a bit. I find them from multiple places, online tutorials, YouTube videos, people that I follow on Instagram, all my own recipe books. But I wanted to share about my cookie boxes this Vlogmas, but I didn't want to be sharing other people's recipes because they're their recipes, right? So I don't want to take their property and give it away for free. Or piggyback off of their free content already. So I was trying to think how I could incorporate my cookie baking or my treat making into my videos without infringing on somebody else's work. And then I remembered my Rocky Road is my own recipe. So today I'm going to show you how I make my white chocolate Rocky Road to go into the cookie boxes that I make every year. So I'll show you how I do it. Okay, let's make some Rocky Road. I'm sorry if you can hear the air conditioner blowing in the background, but it is 38 degrees here in Perth today, which is about 100 Fahrenheit. So it's warm and I'm going to leave the air conditioner on. So I said in the intro that this was my own recipe, but I mean that in the sense that, as much as pouring melted chocolate over a bunch of things can be a recipe, but it is my own concoction. So I'll go ahead and tell you about it. So I like to use white chocolate. Here I have a mix of melts and chips because that's all that was left at the shops when I went to buy them. And there's about 650 grams there. I sew in imperial, but I cook in metric. So I'll put any conversions and measurements and stuff in the description box below. So 650 grams of white chocolate. Mini marshmallows, I have about 150 grams of those. Macadamia nuts, which I've toasted for about 5 minutes at 180 degrees. And then I've just chopped them sort of in half-ish, quarters maybe. Turkish Delight. Now, the Turkish Delight that I have found is this one. I got it from Coles. It comes in cubes that are about an inch, 2 centimeters ish, but I find that a bit big. So what I usually do is cut them into quarters. And these are covered in a very fine sugar so that they don't stick together So after I cut them, usually do it in a different bowl, but I just sort of shake off some of that excess sugar and just make sure that I rub the cut edges into that sugar so that all the Turkish delight doesn't stick together while I'm waiting to put it all together. But I've done all of that in advance. And then the only other thing I put in my Rocky Road is dried cranberries. So there is, I'm not sure I said, there's 250 grams of Turkish delight and 100 grams of dried cranberries. Now what I normally sort of think about as a rule of thumb is approximately equal measurements of chocolate to mix-ins. So I've got 650 grams of chocolate, 200 grams of macadamia nuts, 150 grams of marshmallows, 250 grams of Turkish delight, and 100 grams of craisins. So well, I think that's 650 to 700 if my maths are correct there. But you know, close enough. And I've got more of all of these things, so I can add or take away if once I mix it together it's not feeling right. You sort of measure with your heart, right? It's Rocky Road. And I have a glass dish that is approximately 20 centimeters square, 8 inches, and some baking paper, just so it doesn't stick. So the first step is to melt this chocolate, and I'm going to do that over a double boiler because my big bowl is made of metal, so I can't stick it in the microwave, and I don't want to faff about with trying to melt it in one thing and then pour it into something else. So I'll go sit this over a saucepan of simmering water on the stove, stir it till it's melted, and then I'll come back. While that chocolate's melting, I'll just show you how I line my dish with my baking paper so that it's nice and neat and fits the tray properly. So I just start by folding up one side, sort of estimating how much I need to fold, and then I'll fold up another corner there. Make sure they're nice and straight. So I've just folded 2 sides, and then I'll pop that into the tray. I'm sure there's more scientific ways to do this, but this is easy. So I just sort of estimate there how much I need to fold this side over, and then fold it over so it's straight. And then the same on the last side. Put it up to the edge and fold it over, and then just make it nice and straight. And then on these corners you can see the folded lines, and I just go around and cut into one side on each corner. And then fold them back so that when you pop it into the dish, the cut bit folds around the not cut bit. Does that make sense? So it's cut there. I'm going to fold it up into a square, and then that side will wrap around there. Like that. And if you're worried that it isn't going to sit in there nicely and stay up against the sides, you could just use like some butter or cooking spray or something to just sort of stick it to the sides if you want to. Okay, I've just got a little bit of baking paper here with a little bit of butter, and I'll just basically glue the paper to the side of the dish and to itself with just a little bit of butter. so that it will stay where it needs to be. Done. Okay, so all my chocolate is all beautifully melted, and I'm going to go ahead and start mixing things in. But just for the sake of caution, I'm going to mix sort of like half of everything in and then see how I feel. Because you can always add more, but you can't take it away, right? This is not an exact science. Mix it up. I think you want enough chocolate that everything's going to get held together and coated, but also you don't want it to be sort of stingy on the mix-ins either. I think there's a balance to be found there. I don't know, man. I'm just making this stuff up as I go along most of the time. Do you guys make Rocky Road for Christmas or for any other time? What are your favourite mix-ins? I know coconut is traditional in Rocky Road, but I have a daughter who absolutely despises coconut, so I don't put coconut in my Rocky Road. I mean, that's looking pretty good, but there is still like a fair amount of chocolate at the bottom. I don't know, what do you reckon? Should I just pour it all in and hope for the best? Bugger it, let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? There we go. So everything's in there. If it really goes pear-shaped, I could also always quickly melt some more chocolate. Sorry, friends. I lost my nerve and went ahead and melted about 100 grams more chocolate. It was just feeling a little bit heavy on the mix-ins and not quite like they were going to be glued together properly. Told you I was making this up as I go along, right? Okay, so we're up to now about 750 grams of chocolate and 700 grams of mix-ins. And that feels a bit better to me. And now I'm just going to pour it into the dish. Now, obviously this is quite a lot of Rocky Road too, right? But I'm doing this for cookie boxes, for multiple boxes, for multiple people. You might not normally need to make quite such an obscene amount of Rocky Road. It's also going to be very tall in the pan, but I'm going to cut it up into small pieces. I could have spread it out into a larger pan. That would have been a good idea, but I didn't quite think I was going to make this much. Also, please let the record show I am not a food vlogger. This is not my specialty. Oh, there's marshmallows all over the table. That's excellent. So I'm just going to like spread this out as evenly as possible and smash it down into the dish. So I will go and put this in the fridge to set, and then I'm going to come back and show you all of the other things I made for my cookie boxes and share all the recipes for those things in the description box below. Okay, see you soon. Okay, here is this year's cookie box. Well, I've been calling it a cookie box, but actually this year there's only one cookie, which is this one here. That is the Preppy Kitchen chocolate crinkle cookie. And actually Preppy Kitchen's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this year's box. This one in the middle here is the Preppy Kitchen toffee. It's one that I make every year. It's my favorite, and I think a couple of other people's favorites as well. It feels like the type of thing that you shouldn't be able to make at home So it's like a hard butter toffee with pecans and then chocolate on top, and it turns out perfectly every time. It's absolutely fantastic. And I love it. And these ones here are both Oreo truffle balls. I also got that recipe from Preppy Kitchen. I've never made these before, but they're also all over the internet. Basically, it's smashed up Oreo cookies mixed with cream cheese and then dipped in chocolate. The white ones, I added a teaspoon of peppermint extract to, so they're peppermint flavored. And these ones, I wanted something different, but I didn't have any other extracts or essences. So instead of using all cream cheese, I made half cream cheese and half peanut butter, and I mixed that up with the Oreos. So those are peanut butter flavored. And these ones I just dipped in white chocolate and then drizzled with dark chocolate. And these ones I dipped in dark chocolate and then put some little star sprinkles on. Dipping things in chocolate is a total pain in the butt. I will not do that again for cookie boxes. It was painful. But hopefully they'll be delicious. And I do think they look quite festive. And this is the rocky road that I just showed you. And another thing that I always give every year is a jar of my homemade granola. I got this recipe from the Half-Baked Harvest recipe book. So I won't share that recipe, but I'm sure you could use a different recipe. Half-Baked Harvest has other granola recipes on her site that you could use. Or if you have the book, you could use that. It's my favorite. Well, to be fair, it's the only granola that I've ever made, but I've been making it for years and I absolutely love it. I always give jars of that as gifts. And these are sweet and spicy nuts. And the recipe for those I got from Smitten Kitchen. And they're also very easy and delicious. So yeah, that's my cookie box this year. I'd love to know what you guys put in your cookie boxes if you make them, or at least what your sort of traditional annual favorite treats are. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any recipes you think I should check out. I will list all the recipes for these things down below in the description box, and you can check them out if you like. Hello friends. I did film that video over the course of a couple of days, but I'm editing it now to publish today, which is December 24th. And I just wanted to pop back on and chat about a couple of things. One is the type of boxes I use for my cookie box. I always see people, particularly in America, give their cookie boxes in beautiful, like, decorative cardboard gift boxes and things, and they're lined with, you know, tissue paper, and they're all very beautiful, but the fact of the matter is it's 40 degrees here now today, and it's due to be 41 tomorrow, which is 105 Fahrenheit. So it's just not practical to be putting things that might melt or whatever in, you know, pretty cardboard and paper and all of that. So it needs to be plastic probably, and it needs to be sealable, and it needs to be something that can sort of easily fit into my cooler bags so that I can transport them to the people that I'm giving them to, and the fridge for both me and the recipient to be able to keep them fresh, because 5 minutes in the heat at 40 odd degrees and the whole thing will just be a puddle of melted chocolate. So I usually look for something like this. I normally am able to find things like this at like Red Dot or the Reject Shop, which in America is probably like the dollar store or something. Yeah, so that is why it's not a pretty box and it's not beautifully decorated, but we do need to be somewhat practical about these things. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about that. But today is now the last day of Vlogmas. Tomorrow is Christmas Day, and so I just wanted to pop on and thank you guys all for watching, for commenting and liking all of my videos this month. It's been really fun for me to sort of put out so much content all at once. Obviously I'm still pretty new to the whole YouTube thing, but doing Vlogmas is something that I really wanted to do, and I'm very happy that I did it, and I really appreciate the support and all the lovely comments and the people that sort of followed along for the whole month and kept popping up and stuff. It was really lovely to catch up with you guys in the comments. And that's about it from me. I'm going to see some family over the next couple days, and then back to work for a couple of days next week. and then it will be New Year, and I'll probably try and take a bit of time off that week, but it's all go, go, go really until then. I hope that you are all having a chance to relax and that you get to have a nice Christmas if you celebrate, or a nice, end of year period if you don't. And I will be back soon with something else. Okay, friends, I love you. Bye.